Welcome back, everybody, for step 2. This is Dr. Please, and I'm going through the inquiry cycle. We just completed step 1, and now we are on step 2. So now you have your topic and you're ready to do some research. The first thing that you'll need to do is make sure you've read through this section, and then you're going to go to our LibGuide by clicking on the link, and that will open up our library guide. And you're going to want to start with the primary sources. Typically, you might start with some secondary sources and then find a primary source later, but sometimes the primary resources, when you start here, that's where you just find something you never would have guessed even existed. Earlier, I had done a quick search, so I went to the Smithsonian Institute. Many things in the United States have all kinds of things from different cultures. So here, I'm going to come in here and do a search for, mine is, I'm just going to put in ancient Egypt. I want something really big. I just kind of want to see what's out there. I'm not coming in with a inquiry topic like the Nile or King Tut, something more specific. I just want to kind of see what's here, make sure they do have something for ancient Egypt. Let me hit search. And sure enough, here's all kinds of information. Now this is interesting. There's this picture here, it's an actual photograph. Ancient Nile meter on Elephantine Island near Aswan, Egypt. So let's see what this is. I have never heard of a Nilometer. I know meter is a form of measurement. I know the Nile is the major river that flooded every year and provided everything for the Egyptians. I read that in my reading. I know that from some past studies. So I've got a photographer here. This is an actual photograph. And I'm reading through to see flight of stairs constructed. So this leads down from the riverbank. So I'm curious about this. It doesn't really tell me what a Nile meter is. It tells me where it's found. It tells me some history of this particular set of stairs, this particular one. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say that this is going to be my primary source from now. Now, if I go out into the internet, I can't find anything else about Nile meters. I will come back and choose something different because I don't want to pick something so obscure that I'm just going to hit dead end after dead end after dead end. So I'm going to come over here and we're going to put some secondary sources over time up for you. But for now, we don't have that. So I'm just going to go to Google and I'm going to put in Nilometer. And look at that. We're going to, oh, that's the Smithsonian site I was just on. I've got a dictionary definition here. Make it the height that reached the Nile during annual floods. Okay, so I am on my way here to understanding what this thing is. A structure for measuring the Nile River's clarity and water level during annual flood season. There are 3 types. And a corridor stairway of steps. Okay, I'm already getting this information. Now, this is coming from Wikipedia. I don't want to use, Wikipedia is amazing. Even the person who started Wikipedia, one of the original founders, I don't know if he was the only founder or if he was a co-founder, but he said himself, Wikipedia is excellent for starting your research to get some curiosity and wonder what's out there. He said that himself, and it's a starting place. He said it is not meant as the end. It is meant as a quick start. So here I'm intrigued. I'm going to do some looking here. So I'm not going to look here on Wikipedia though. I'm going to go over here and find something that is going to, I'm looking at the websites up here, National Geographic, Nilometer. I trust National Geographic. I'm gonna go here and see what I see. That looks just like what we were looking at before. I want this out of the way. How do I get that out of the way? There we go. Okay. So now somehow, oh, this is the thing with National Geographic. They have amazing, how do I get away from that? They have amazing articles. But look, it's blocking me right now because it's making me, so now I need to go back. So this is what you're going to encounter. This is just what it's going to be like. So let's keep going. Waterhistory.org. Get my picture out of the way. Waterhistory.org, amusingplanet.com, archaeology.org, TripAdvisor, no. Vintage News, Ancient Origins. Let's see what else we have. Well, there's some travel sites. Lonely Planet. Irrigationmuseum.org. Let's see, first of all, who sponsors this museum. Irrigation Association. Before I get my information, I just want to know where I'm getting my information from. So this is a professional organization, and they are, it looks like people within the irrigation industry can pay to be certified here, and they have different resources. So this would be something where I might take a look and see what they have to say about the Nilometer, because I can tell that they are definitely a legitimate organization. There's some other things we could go to look at right now, but just for the purposes of what we're doing right now, I'm going to say I'm going to look at this. So let's see what we've got. It was unpredictable without records, so they created a gauge called a Nilometer. The simplest design was a vertical column submerged in the river with marked intervals, okay? And a second was a flight of stairs, and that's what we were looking at. The data was then used by the priesthood, who mystically predicted when, so they looked at patterns over time. All right. Go back. That looks like what I'm going to get from here. So that's some pretty interesting information I can use from here. So I'm going to hold on to this one. And I want one more source, maybe with a little more information, just because that's a little sparse. But let's see, Nilometer. And I'm going to look at this archaeology.org. I want to know. A publication of Archaeology Institute of America. I would say we're probably in very good hands here. Again, I will show you later some other things you can do just to verify, but right now we're going to say this is good. It's a device used by ancient Egyptians to calculate the water level of the Nile during its annual flood, therefore predict the success of the harvest and compute the tax rate for the year. Oh my gosh. Rising water may have flowed through a channel for rising water from the river may have flowed through a channel or from the rising water table into the Nilometer circular well which was assessed by a staircase. So the staircase took it down into this well. One of the large limestone blocks in the Nilometer bears a list of Greek names followed by numbers, which suggests these people may have contributed funds to build it. We suspect it was originally, now this is talking about a specific one. I'm looking kind of more in general. But now here's what I can do. I've now got enough information that I can write down some notes about what a Nilometer is. I've got 2 secondary sources, these 2 right here, and then I've got my original source from the Smithsonian with that image of the original image there. I can use that primary source, or I can use a primary source that I found in one of these other sites. But right now I still like that other one. So this is the process you would go through. You're going to take your time with this because this is where you're going to make sure that you're finding quality information. At this rate, I would still look for another 1 or 2 sources because none of these are giving me huge amounts of information. So one of the questions I would have is going back to that original Smithsonian one is, can I find information about this particular man who took this picture? So this, trying to see if we're going to come back here to the recording. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording because I think I'm starting to get some, it's not kind of picking up all the recording. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here. And then we will go on to step 3. So at this point, you have gathered your research.